Alright, so I just wanted to do like a more detailed close-up video of the solar system I installed. The day I took that video, I was also installing everything, so it was kind of a rushed filming. Wasn't really going into detail that much, and I also made a couple mistakes, so I wanted to just restate a few things. So first of all, this is actually a 10 amp fuse in here, inline fuse. You want that on the positive end. So I have the positives connected here, these two end panels, and then in the middle, it's the positives and negatives connect on all these other ones. I just put this up today just in case we get a huge wind gust. I'm worried that this could tip over. This whole solar array frame, it's probably not going to happen because it's against the house, but I just had this image of coming out to this thing being tipped over and all the panels cracked, so I wanted to just in case, I put a eye bolt in the house and one in the frame. I have it connected with this steel rope. That's about it for the panels. Let's go inside and show you that setup. Now in here, it's about the same as before. The only thing that's different is I had to put thicker wires in here. These are 4 gauge. This charge controller recommends 6 gauge, so these are a little bit bigger. I had to kind of taper the ends off and get them up in there, but it's better to go with bigger wires than smaller wires. I had to add a 60 amp fuse in here. Then I changed out the inverter cables to 4/0. These, I originally installed 1/0 cables and realized they can't really handle the full amount of power that this inverter can put out. And we have this 300 amp T fuse. These are quick blow fuses, which inverters recommend. So that's the T fuse there for the inverter, the positive one. I know I have 2 reds, but this is the negative with the black heat shrink. And there's a little black tape there just to cover up a little piece of copper that was exposed. So then this is for the charge controller coming up here from that 60 amp fuse on this bus bar here. I added these bus bars. This is a 300 amp bus bar. So it's a pretty heavy duty one. And then this battery switch is wired in on the negative. I used some of the old inverter cables for that, the 1/0, just to have it a little bit oversized so there's no voltage drop between the battery and the shunt, and then the switch going to that negative bus bar. On the negative bus bar, the ground on the end there, and then this is for the inverter, this is for the charge controller, and that's the switch there coming from the battery. So I can cut the power off with this if I need to. And then this shunt is wired in right to the negative of the battery, and then this gray cord is the data cable going to the display, and this red is the power for the display system going on to the positive terminal there. Yeah, I kept these battery cables. They're 4 gauge. The company recommended 6 gauge to connect the batteries, so I went a little oversized on that just to be safe, and that's what I had, so I didn't feel like buying other stuff. Yeah, and we're up and running now, full force. So got it a little bit more neatened up. The data cable comes from that shunt down behind this panel and plugs in to the back of that. And the only other thing I'm waiting on is a PV disconnect circuit breaker for inside of here. I'm going to mount it right up here so I can just cut the power to the solar and do some work in here when I need to. That's all I have for now. I'm sure I'll be coming back with more updates and more ideas, but I really appreciate you watching and hanging along for this journey.